Once upon a time, there was a girl whose life ran her. She was too busy doing to really enjoy family and friends and faith. She was missing out on living, loving, and laughing. She was really more of a human doing than a human being, some said. That girl was me. In Act 1, I built a great resume, working in healthcare marketing for 3 decades and rising to the level of corporate vice president. In fact, somewhat ironically, I've been advertising mammography since before I even needed mammograms. So imagine my shock in 2012 at being diagnosed with stage 2B breast cancer that I found myself just weeks after my annual screening mammogram. After my bilateral mastectomy, 3 more cancer sites were found, none of which had been detected by the mammogram, ultrasound, breast MRI, or physician exams. That's thanks to my dense breast tissue. The big bad wolf by the name of cancer had stopped me cold in my tracks. Throughout this journey, I've come to realize that I'd taken my health and my life for granted. And like the first 2 little pigs in the fairy tale, I'd been building my house or my life with straw and sticks, building on the superficial and the temporary. More importantly now, during my second act, I'm building a better Beth and hoping to help others build better lives too. Here are some of the lessons that I'm using in Act 2 to educate women about surviving cancer, but more importantly about enjoying family, friends, and faith, living, loving, and laughing. First, I learned that finding breast cancer in dense breast tissue is a lot like trying to see a polar bear in a blizzard. While mammograms do save lives, we cannot rely solely on them. A mammogram did find my sister's cancer in stage 0, but it was a self-exam that found mine. I've learned that there are entire professions that I never knew existed, like 3D nipple tattoo artist. But I'm still learning that just because I've lost all personal modesty, it doesn't mean I should flash my new tattoos to everyone at the office. I've also learned that sensory memories are way more important and more powerful than we know. I'm reminded of the man who saw his chemo nurse in Kroger 10 years after his treatment, and he promptly threw up in the aisle. I'm so thankful for the advances that prevented nausea during my chemotherapy. But I've learned that as healthcare providers, we must focus more on the sensory memories that are a part of the entire patient experience. But the most important lesson I've learned that's now fueling my second act is straight from the book I got to know during Act 1, but wasn't living as I knew to do. That book taught me that we should number our days, that we should gain a heart of wisdom. In other words, life isn't so much about the quantity as it is about the quality. That book also taught me to act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with my God. I've just returned from Uganda, as Joe said, where my niece Amanda and I served at an orphanage. We played flute duets, and we taught the children how to play kazoos. And in Nashville, I've stepped up my commitment to helping victims of human trafficking, working through the End Slavery Tennessee organization. But more importantly even than these acts of doing, I'm learning to walk humbly each day with my God and find that fullness of joy in the presence of my Creator. And for me, that means saying no to a lot of good things so I have time to say yes to the very best things. And frankly, that's the most challenging part for this recovering workaholic. Finally, I'm trying to live every day the lesson that a cheerful heart is good medicine. So I'm prioritizing time with family and friends. I started going on an annual camping trip with my parents and brother's family just a few weeks after finishing chemo. And I've just celebrated my 20th anniversary with my husband, David. Although, as a recovering procrastinator of all things personal, I've not yet gotten around to that anniversary trip just yet. Sorry, honey. So, with a cheerful heart as my priority, let me conclude with a little story that reminds me to keep laughter and fun a priority and keeps me focused on building my life so the big bad wolves don't scare me. It's called The P Little Thrigs. Once upon an time, there were P Little Thrigs, and they decided to hild brief little louses. Now the first little Thrig, he says, I think I'll hild my little louse out of brawl. And do he said. The leckin' little Sig said, I think I'll hild my little louse out of hicks. And do he said. But the purr little Thrig, he had more salmon kits than his boot trothers. And C had, I think I'll hild my little louse out of bix. And do he said. Then along came the wig cad bulf, and he who the blurst two piddleigs douse his hound with tronubble. Then he docked on the nor of the purr little Thrig's house, and C had doping this or and met Lee in. And the sig pad hot by the nair of chimney men. And the sulf with, and I'll woof, and I'll puff, and I'll hoe your blouse down. So, the sulf wuffed, and he bluffed, and he bluffed, and he wuffed, but he busted and Joe the purr little Thrig's douse down. Now, the story of this story is, use the kite brind of bigs to hild your bouse, and the wad wolf won't woe you away either. Now, just as my words may not have sounded altogether clear in that little story, so the purpose of my life had become distorted, as I'd been too focused on doing instead of being. And now in Act 2, as I continue my quest for physical and spiritual health, I'm building with the bricks of faith and family, love and laughter, as I seek to be a blessing to others. Thank you.